Today we are sitting down with Juan Morales, who is a full-time creator, and myself, Nicole Shapiro, who is a freelance creator. And we're going to be talking about 4 major things that are maybe challenges or benefits to either of our jobs.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Shout out to Matt and Connor from Viva Studios. If you are in Etobicoke and looking for a studio space, they have a fantastic space here. We're sitting in this beautiful, huge cyclorama here. We're going to do a calendar reveal, and this is my Monday to Friday as a freelancer, and this is his Monday to Friday as a full-time.
For me, typically, like my life structure is I'm working the evenings. So specifically for my actual job, every day from 6 to 2 in the morning, 6 in the afternoon to 2 in the morning, not 6 in the morning to 2 in the morning, because I would be evil. Every day from 6 p.m. to 2 a.m., my time is blocked off for my shift at the NHL. I mean, it's full time, but I go in. That's my 9 to 5. It's a 6 to 2. So every evening from work, I'm there. Right. 2 days from home, which is really nice, and then 3 days in the office. 20-minute walk from me, which is also really nice. But apart from that, like for the day, I'm not always relaxing because everyone I work with, again, this is very specific to my situation. Everyone who I work with works during the day for the most part. I work with people at night, like our own in-game team, but my boss and my other supervisors and my other coworkers work during the day. So for example, like a day like Tuesday, we have a weekly meeting every day at 4 at the end of the day. And like right before my shift, so it works. But like, sometimes I'll have meetings at noon and sometimes I'll have meetings at 2. And it just really depends on the flow week to week, what's going on and what we need to prep for. Right. But like, it kind of just shows that like, it's different for me because even when I'm not on, I'm kind of still on. I'm always answering my Slack. I'm like messaging here and there, getting updates on stuff that during the day I'm not there for, but I need to stay on track of. Even when I'm off, I'm still answering messages. I have meetings I got phone calls I got to be on. And then other than that, like I just have my own life to go throughout the day. And it's just like, it's a little weird because I'm waking up, I'm going to bed at like 3 in the morning when I'm done work and at home. And I'm trying to be up by 10 because I want to have most of the day. That's just, again, part of the lifestyle. I'm trying to have most of the day open to run my errands, have my other phone calls. I have my own freelance stuff apart from this. So like I spend the day, but typically, 6 to 2 in the morning, that's my schedule. It's consistent. I get 2 days off a week. Typically, I have Sunday off because it's not really a busy day and they don't really need me. Mm-hmm. And then the rest of my week is kind of spontaneous. So like I might have a Wednesday off because there's three games on. Mm-hmm. And then I might have Sunday off, which is my usual. Or I might have a random Thursday or a random Friday, depending on what the schedule is looking like, what I'm needed. Today, I worked a day shift, which is very rare for me, but it's because like I have the full weekend off, but there's 3 games tonight, so I worked a day shift. So I'm working every single day consistently. But then there's the also added change of when I travel. For my full-time job, I'm really lucky. I get to travel for events. I get to go to different things. I was at the All-Star game. I just went through this whole like 2-month stretch of like travel. Yeah. I think I've been in my apartment like for a total of like 3 weeks in the last 2 months. Yeah. Just because I've been traveling so much. And like, so that's another thing to like, I might be traveling for a full week and I don't get a single day off. And like that happened to me. And now I have three months at home until the playoffs, until Stanley Cup final. And if I get to go again, I'm not home for 17 days. Yeah. So there's that added thing, like with full-time job, not only are you doing shifts, but depending on your opportunity and the place you're at, you're going to have extracurricular as the job. Like it's the whole like other duties as assigned, even though like I kind of knew this was part of the job coming in, but like when you travel, it changes a lot of your schedule and a lot of the structure. You're not working in the office, but like you spend 2 whole days on a plane. Yeah. To and from your home city. And then you're working the entire day. It's not even like a structure. You're working the whole day and the whole event week. Yep. And so it changes a lot. And it just, again, it's very dependent on the situation. That's just mine. Like my life will be really normal for like 3 or 4 months. Yeah. And then you have summertime, which is also very like changed. Summertime, I work in 9 to 5. It changes because there's no games. So I'm flipping to a regular 9 to 5 schedule, which isn't really in my jam. I don't like it, but like it's just part of it. And then the season starts and then it's like I might be traveling a few times in October, November, fall time. Yep. And then New Year's hits and I'm gone. So it changes a lot. Yeah. So it's consistent, but it's not.
It's consistent change.
It's consistent chaos. Yeah. And I love it. And I wouldn't have it any other way.
With my freelance calendar, I'm not even going to say my Monday to Friday. It's my like Sunday to Sunday because I work like
you embody
randomly.
The 24/7.
Yeah. I've been like pretty good at taking like a good chunk of a day off. Like I don't have like a solid day where I'm like not doing anything. Sometimes I do. Like sometimes it's like more often than not I do, but there are weeks where like I definitely definitely don't. So for example, like this Sunday, I went to a wonderful yoga class in the afternoon. I probably woke up at like 10. I had a coffee date with this girl, Abby, who's a set designer. She's amazing. We talked about like spec ideas, and then I probably edited for the rest of the evening. And then Monday, super random, 9 a.m. I like registered for this Getting Your Business Accelerating online like webinar. So I watched that. I did a cycle class in the afternoon, and then again, rest of the evening, I'm editing, or I'm like in meetings with certain people. I'm either editing, I'm doing educational stuff, or I'm shooting.
She's really good with her calendar. You should see. She calendar invites me for everything. We're hanging out this night, just to hang out, calendar invite. We're going for a coffee, just to catch up, calendar invite. Oh, you're like, you want me to come drop off your calendar invite. That's really good. Organization's good. I'm not that good.
I will talk about Google Calendar all day. Tomorrow I have a meeting with an editor, and I will also probably be editing. I actually have a calendar invite for Ariel to come and edit. And then Friday I have camera prep at White's from like 10 to 2. And then Saturday, Sunday, and Tuesday I'm shooting like all day, 10 plus 1 hour days. So it's a lot of like nothing at the beginning of my week where I'm just like, let me work out. Let me like do some meetings. Let's do some editing. And then it's like full shoot day today. Then tomorrow I'm like, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'm like 10 plus 1 hour days. That's the beauty of it. I love doing random things every single day. I don't think like I thrive on the structure. Like maybe habits are a great thing to do, but not like timed structures. So yeah.
I think also it just speaks, and this is very like, this is going to change depending on how you like to run your life. But like, we are both people who do not want to live that 9 to 5 mindset. Like, I don't thrive off that. Like, I know I work a 6 to 2, but it works for me because I'm way more creative and energized at night. So, but in that sense, it's like we have a lifestyle that's very like spontaneous. I could be here 1 minute and I might be traveling the next. And like, she would hit me with that, "You're leaving again? Like, Jesus, weren't you just?" And like, you know, but I think that's just because me and her really enjoy having the different day every single day. And for me at work, like, I'm going to the office, I'm doing something different every single day. Unless I have a project that's like taking me like a few days or a week to edit or like produce whatever, I get to do something different every single day. That's what I love about it. You know what I mean? And you get to create something different. You get into different situations. Not every day is the same. So it's kind of like a balance between like not having that structure because you want that versatility and like change in pace every so often. You get to, you know, in some cases, sometimes for me, it's not a busy night and it's kind of nice. Sometimes there's like a million things happening. I don't want to edit. And it's like your days, like some days you might have like one business call and then you're free. And then the next day you're shooting for like 14 hours and you're like, I just want to crawl into bed and cry. So it's like very similar, right? So it's, again, it just depends on the lifestyle you want. It just depends on how you want to like structure it. You know, it's not really one over the other, just two very different ways of living life.
So in conclusion, after watching this whole YouTube video between a full-timer and a freelancer, this is my perspective on like what my biggest challenge is, and he'll also give his biggest challenge. Mine is that freelancing is not common, or at least like in people's minds, like society, you know, like everyone says there is a 9 to 5, like that is the thing that you sought after. It's not your traditional work style. Like you were probably said, oh, you should be a doctor, you should be a lawyer, you should be a accountant. But instead, you're like, I want to make pretty videos and then and get paid for it.
And then people will look at you and be like,
are you sure?
Do you want to like have an apartment and have a property? Like that's
it's just other people question that stability and your confidence and your successfulness as like a business owner, right? Thankfully, I had a lot of great support from my family. Like my parents were like, do it, like we'll back this. Like they were super supportive, so I'm very happy to have them. Friends, yes, but like I feel like definitely like friends and acquaintances, they were like, oh, that's interesting, and like didn't really understand like the whole scope and how passionate I actually was. So I think that's definitely a challenge of really just putting myself out there and being like, yeah, I'm a freelancer, and like saying it with my chest and not being afraid to be like, don't judge me, but like I freelance, you know what I mean? So, and you know, because judgment can come from that. So that's my biggest challenge.
I think my biggest challenge, and I faced a lot of that too, because we're both creatives, right? Like regardless of our lifestyles, we're both working in the creative industry. So like I also had people like, you, like, what do you do? And my answer to what do you do is like, I make hockey videos for the internet. It's my full-time job. I make hockey videos for the internet. And like, you know, when I started doing this, people were like, you want to work in sports? There's not a lot of money in it. You want to make videos? Like, can you really sustain that?
Yeah.
Joke's on you. You're all watching them on the internet now. It's joke's on you. We're big braining this. But like, I think that's just something in common that we have in terms of being creative. It's just like, it's not the most common path. Freelancing for sure. Super like, whoa, you're your own boss, business owner. Like it's a form of entrepreneurship though. So I think that's why like nowadays it's generally more accepted. For me,
definitely.
The biggest challenge of full-timing, and I talked about it earlier, is life balance, because especially in my case, I give up so much time to my job that it's really hard at times to make time for people and family and friends.
Yeah.
And I'm going to reference my podcast again. And if you guys are curious, go watch the Sports Creative Podcast on my YouTube channel.
Hell yeah.
Or wherever you get your podcasts. I'm going to have her on it very, very soon. But I remember I was talking to my friend Colin, and he said that one of the biggest things he wanted to do this year, and I really resonated with this, and I kind of took that after that conversation and kind of embedded it going into this year, is I want to make sure that people in my life feel like they're loved. Because a lot of the time, like, most of my day is spent behind a computer screen. Most of my time is, you know, planning videos and working. And if we're very much the same. We love what we do so much that you invest every single interview, and you forget that there is something beyond that there are people in your life, that there are things you need to attend to, your own health, your mental health, your physical health. Like, the work-life balance is the hardest thing, because I'm like so tired at the end of the day. I don't want to go to the gym. I might order food, and that's not a smart or healthy decision.
Yeah.
I miss opportunities with friends and family, and like I didn't have New Year's this year with my family, didn't have my birthday. Like, it's the work-life balance that becomes really hard, because you are giving your time for something that is bigger than you. You are giving your time to a team or an organization, and you know, sometimes that's not for you. You're able to say, oh, you want me to shoot on this day, and it happens to be your birthday, or it happens to be your boyfriend's birthday, or it happens to be like Christmas. You can say no.
Yeah.
I can try to like work around and be like, I would rather not, but if like they say they need me, they need me.
Yeah.
And that's just it. Like, they asked me to go to Michigan for a shoot a few days after getting home, and I didn't anticipate it, and I said, yeah, I'll do it, because I just know that's like, it's not really like, it's just part of the job. It's part of it's just part of the lifestyle. And I think that's the biggest thing, is like that light work-life balance. But like, that's also what I'm trying to work on this year. It's like, make sure I'm making time for my people. Like, I take my days off. Last year, my Sundays and my other day off, I'd be working. Yeah. This year, it's like, for example, I have this weekend off, like a full Saturday, Sunday weekend. I'm going to go see my family. Yeah. Because I haven't seen them in a while. Yeah. And I'll get to hang out with them. Friday, like, you know, different nights that I have
Shout
off.
out Mama Morales.
Yeah.
If you're watching this.
Hopefully she watches it.
Love you.
I think she watches my YouTube videos. I love you. But you know, if I have a night off, I'm going to, you know, spend it with friends, or, you know, like phone calls with people, like catch up, like I connect with people. Like, that's what I try to do. So it's like just making sure that I don't lose myself in what I do is probably the biggest challenge.
Yeah. And what is the thing that you absolutely love about it?
The fact that I can make hockey videos for the internet. But I mean, no, I mean, it's the thing I think I like the most, though, like truly, is that I get to pursue my passion. No, even though it's like, and this again goes for both of us. And I think this video is going to turn more into like just the differences versus which one is better. But like, you know what I love? There's several different things, but I think obviously
choose the best one.
I think when it comes to working full time and in my particular position, I get to experience a lot of things that, like, as a kid growing up, I've always wanted to experience. Like, the Stanley Cup final was such a cool experience for me. And if you could get there freelancing, and you could get hired out by a team, you can get hired out by the NHL, you could get hired out by a broadcaster. There are ways of getting to these events. And this, I think, also applies to working with certain clients. There are ways of getting there as a freelancer. But like, the opportunity for me to go and see, like, I was on the ice for the Stanley Cup, and I got to shoot it, and I got to be in the room when they were celebrating.
That's epic.
And like, that is something that, like, and I've said this to you, and we've had this conversation before, in terms of like, you and I can't do what you do. And I always would compare myself. All of our friends are freelancers. I'm kind of like one of the only ones who works in the sports space full time. And I always used to compare myself to you guys and be like, I'm not working on this set, I'm not on this shoot. But I really quickly realized, like, within a year, I'm like, that's not what I love to do. What I love to do is capture sports, make sports videos, tell stories that way. And I've been afforded opportunities. Like, I get to go to the Stanley Cup final. I got to be there. I got to witness it. I got to go to the Winter Classic. I got to go to the All-Star game.
Legendary.
I get to travel. I get to do
like unforgettable moments.
Unforgettable stuff like that. Like, kid version of me, or even 5 years ago in university, 3 years ago graduated, like, would have never believed. So like, I have the opportunity to do that. Is it because I'm full-time? Yes and no. I get afforded those opportunities. You can find those opportunities when you're a freelancer, but I think it's a lot easier when you're already embedded within a company to find those opportunities. You know what I mean? Like, if the opportunity ever came up where they wanted a professional sports team wanted a freelancer, it happens. They hire them out all the time.
Yeah.
But when it comes to those really big ones, like they're gonna
trust their dogs.
Yeah, exactly. But it's also like it's a lot harder to get in when you have that. In. So I think that's my favorite thing is just getting to experience things through that opportunity of working full time, like things that I dreamed to be at as a kid. Now I get to do that.
This job is really like my favorite part is making those core memories. Like that's really what it is. It's like, how many cool people am I going to meet today? How many people that I'm going to, like work with again and really like establish amazing relationships with them. So it's like finding those, the synergy on set and finding people that like really just get you. I remember being on this YMCA shoot that I was producing, and it was with like a bunch of homies. Like it was like Kofi, it was a gang. It was like Ryan was there, Renzo was there, like just so many homies. So I remember this so vividly where there was like a huge thunderstorm and the power was out, and literally our last scene was to shoot an elevator scene, and we're like, great, like this power is out, what are we gonna do? So we had to break for lunch early, and all of us, there was like at least 7 of us doing this fruit roll up challenge. You compete to see who the fastest person is to like roll this whole fruit roll up just by using your mouth, like not your hands. We were in tears. Like it was just so funny. Those are clearly, I'm like, I light up when I talk about it. And that is like the perfect example of the things that I truly value about the freelance life is like when I get those opportunities to produce, and if I was full-time, maybe I'd be stuck producing, not stuck, but like, that if that's my job title, I'm only producing. And if I wanted to, be a camera operator, like it's not part of that full-time, option.
And I think, again, it really depends on who you work for.
It totally depends on who you work for. That's true.
I'm going to reference an upcoming episode I have with my friend Avalon. She's a producer at Fresh Shape Media down in Denver, and we were talking about this whole thing about enjoying your job and whether and I asked her about freelance, and she was like, I hate freelance. And I'm like, you're like one of the first people in this industry that actually like has told me that they hate it, but like why? And she kind of said, it really depends on who you're working for. Yeah. She doesn't like that. I don't know if it was the instability of freelance or just like the kind of what we talked about. You never know when your next paycheck's going to come from. It really depends on who you work for. And I think a big thing is just like, for me, I get to see all these cool opportunities, and I get to do, and I'm an editor, but I've shown that my skill set provides the ability to produce and to shoot and to coordinate. And direct. With MLSE, I worked with MLSE as a video editor. I was strictly a video editor, and I couldn't do anything else. That's not a bad thing because you really get to work on that one specific skill, and you become really good at it. Without that job, I'm not the editor I am today. But with but it really just depends. Like Avalon was saying, like you can really enjoy and take a lot out of full-time work if you enjoy who you're working for, if they trust you, and if they allow you to have the creative freedom. One day you might be DP, one day you might be director, the next day you might be a gaff. Like you get to play around. So it's just like depending on the environment, depending on the people you work with. There are people who will only DP, and DP only, and I'm sure like in your case, you would prefer to DP. In my case, I would probably prefer to like direct. Like I want a creative direct, right? So like, but it just depends on who you're working with. Maybe you have a crew of people, and I think we have a pretty good group of like, some people someday are down to AD, some people are down to light, some people are down to do audio. Then there are just some people, and there's nothing wrong with just sticking with your guns. But it just really depends on the crew you have and the people you work with that allow you to have those experiences. Yeah,
it's interesting to get that third opinion because like I also haven't heard that perspective often. Like I hear it a lot from like an older crowd that like, oh, it's it's not stable. But her perspective is like, no, the full-time like gig, this working for the man, like you were saying, like if the man is a great guy, like or girl, right? Like who cares? Like that's actually a great thing. So it's cool to have the second opinion.
I love the workplace culture at my job. I have really good relationships with all my coworkers, a really good relationship with my boss. Work is work. It's the whole, you're going to work a day in your life. And you talked about this. Yeah. It's true. Yeah. But sometimes it's going to feel like work. Yeah. It's what it is. I truly have only ever worked a handful of days in my life. I love what I do, and I enjoy every single day of it, and I'm very lucky to have what I do. But it's also because we both put ourselves in the position. Yeah. This is like earned, not given.
Very, very, very true. Facts.
Nicole's still learning how to do outro. Can I outro your YouTube video?
Yeah.
Nicole's still learning how to outro your YouTube video, but if you've made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. If you are coming from my channel or you're just finding this, please subscribe to Nicole. She's incredibly talented. She's a very, very kind human. She brought me here to make a video with her. Subscribe to her. Go leave her a like. If you guys have any questions for either of us, leave them in the comments below.
Please go and subscribe to Juan as well. His link will be in the description. He is amazing at what he does, and he has way more YouTube videos on his channel than I do at the current moment. So he has tons of value to provide. So please go and check him out.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Thumbnail.